Welcome to today's deep dive, where we'll be exploring something pretty fascinating, AI's impact on the art world.
AI is changing the way art is created and experienced, and even what it means to be an artist.
Exactly, and we're basing this deep dive on a really insightful Medium article titled AI and the Future of Art: Ethical Considerations for Creativity by James Gondola.
A great article.
Hmm.
It really digs into the ethical considerations and possibilities of this new era of art.
Right. Have you ever wondered what a Rembrandt painting generated by AI would look like, or seen art that's been sculpted from pure data?
Mind-blowing stuff, right?
Absolutely. So let's dive in. One of the things that struck me is how AI is being used across all stages of the artistic process.
Yeah, it's not just about robots painting pictures.
Right. So how is it being used?
Well, for starters, AI can actually help artists come up with new ideas.
Really?
Yeah, like imagine if you're an artist struggling with a creative block, AI algorithms can analyze tons of data to suggest concepts and patterns, things that maybe you would have thought of on your own.
So it's like having an AI muse.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it. And then there's the design and development stage. Tools like Google's Deep Dream are really pushing the boundaries of what's possible in visual art.
I've heard of Deep Dream, but I don't really understand how it works.
It's a bit complex, but basically Deep Dream uses a special kind of neural network that's designed to mimic how our brains process images.
Okay.
And it extracts and kind of exaggerates the patterns it finds in these images,
Mm.
which results in these really surreal, almost dreamlike visuals.
So artists are using Deep Dream to create new forms and textures.
Exactly. And then, of course, there's the actual execution of the artwork.
Right, where AI-powered robots and 3D printing come into play.
Exactly. These technologies can bring intricate digital designs to life with amazing precision.
It's pretty remarkable what they can achieve these days.
It really is. And Gondola actually highlights how 3D printing is transforming the world of sculpture.
Interesting. How so?
Well, AI algorithms can now design really complex structures that would be impossible to create by hand. And then 3D printers can build those designs layer by layer.
It sounds like we're on the verge of a whole new era of sculptural possibilities.
They are. And speaking of groundbreaking innovation, there are a few really interesting examples of AI-driven art projects out there.
Like what?
Well, one that immediately comes to mind is the next Rembrandt project.
I think I've heard of that one. Tell me more.
So they trained an AI on a huge data set of Rembrandt's work, analyzing his brushstrokes, composition, and everything else.
Wow. And what happened?
The AI was actually able to create a brand new painting in Rembrandt's style.
So a completely original Rembrandt created by a machine?
That's right. And it was so convincing that it sparked a huge debate about authorship and originality.
It makes you wonder what originality even means in the age of AI.
Yeah, it's a really interesting question. And another great example is the work of Refik Anadol.
What does he do?
He uses AI to turn data into these amazing visual art installations.
Data, like what?
All sorts of things. He's used data on city traffic patterns, weather data, all kinds of stuff. And he transforms it into these immersive experiences. It's really cool.
So you're literally walking through a physical manifestation of data.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Gondola seems to think that AI has a lot of potential in immersive art, especially when you combine it with VR and AR technologies,
That makes sense.
right? Imagine stepping into a VR world crafted by an AI that responds to your every move,
Whoa, that would be incredible.
or an AR experience that overlays the real world with AI-generated images. The possibilities are endless.
It sounds like we're on the cusp of a whole new era of artistic expression.
We are. But as we delve deeper into this world, we also need to consider the potential downsides.
Right. What kind of challenges do you see?
Well, for one thing, AI's role in art raises all sorts of legal and ethical questions about things like ownership and copyright.
That makes sense. If an AI creates a painting, who actually owns it? The programmer who created the AI, the person who used it.
Those are exactly the questions we need to be asking.
Mm-hmm.
And we also need to think about how to ensure that these powerful tools are accessible to everyone, not just a select few.
Those are all really important considerations. And I think it's a good segue into the next part of our conversation about the ethical implications of AI in the art world.
Absolutely. Let's dive into that.
Yeah, it feels like we're just scratching the surface when it comes to the legal stuff.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Our current copyright laws are really struggling to catch up with all this new AI tech.
I bet. I mean, who would have thought we'd be dealing with art created by machines?
Right. It's
Mhm.
wild. And this is something that Gondola really dives into in his article.
So what's the main issue here?
Well, if an AI creates a piece of art, like a painting or a song, who actually owns it? The programmer who made the AI the person who used it to create the art? Or could the AI itself even be considered the owner? I mean,
That's a good question. I've never thought about it like that.
right, it's totally uncharted territory, legally speaking, and it's going to take a while to figure it all out.
So what happens now? Like if I use an AI art tool to make a logo for my business, do I actually own the copyright for that logo?
That's where it gets tricky. It really depends on the specific licensing agreement you have with that software provider.
Oh, so it varies from platform to platform.
Exactly. Some platforms might claim ownership of anything you create with their AI, while others might give you full commercial rights to use it however you want.
That makes sense. I guess it's kind of like how different stock photo websites have different licensing agreements.
Yeah, it's similar to that.
Uh-huh.
And unfortunately, it can create a lot of confusion for artists and businesses alike.
So what's the solution here?
Well, as AI art becomes more common, we're going to need to develop clearer legal frameworks that can address these issues. Something that everyone can agree on.
Something more specific to AI art than the old copyright laws.
Exactly, because trying to apply those of laws to this new technology is just not working very well.
Yeah, it's like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole.
Exactly. And it's not just about legal issues either. We also need to think about accessibility.
Right. Not everyone has access to this cutting-edge AI technology.
And we need to make sure it doesn't become something that's only available to a select few. A privilege for the wealthy or tech-savvy.
So how do we prevent that?
Well, one idea is to create more affordable AI art platforms. Maybe even open source options that anyone can use.
That sounds like a step in the right direction.
Right. It's about democratizing access to these tools so anyone can express their creativity regardless of their background or income.
I like that. And what about education? Like, are there ways we can help artists learn how to use these new tools?
Education is absolutely crucial. We need to start incorporating AI art into art school curriculums, offering workshops and online resources that can help artists get up to speed with this tech.
It's like any new tool. You need to learn how to use it properly to really get the most out of it.
Exactly. And with AI art, it's not just about learning the technical skills. It's also about understanding the ethical implications and using these tools in a responsible way.
So it's about empowering artists, not replacing them.
Precisely. It's about giving them new ways to express themselves and explore new creative possibilities.
Yeah.
And speaking of empowerment, I think it's also important to point out the potential for AI to amplify the voices of artists from marginalized communities.
Oh, that's an interesting point. Tell me more.
Well, Gondola argues that AI could help level the playing field in the art world, giving a platform to artists who may not have had the same opportunities in the past.
I can see how that could happen. Maybe AI could help break down some of the barriers that exist in the traditional art world.
Exactly. And that's one of the most exciting things about this technology. It has the potential to make the art world more inclusive and diverse.
Yeah, it's about time, right?
But of course, it's not all sunshine and roses. We need to be mindful of the potential for bias in AI algorithms.
Oh, right. Because these algorithms are trained on massive data sets, and if those data sets aren't diverse enough, the AI could end up perpetuating existing biases.
Exactly. Yeah. Something we need to be very careful about. We need to make sure that the data we feed these algorithms is representative of a wide range of artistic styles and cultural perspectives.
So basically, we need to be more intentional about how we develop and use these tools.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If we want AI to have a positive impact on the art world, we need to guide its development with care, making sure it's used in a way that benefits everyone.
That's a great point. This whole conversation has really highlighted both the incredible possibilities and the potential pitfalls of AI in art.
It's definitely a complex issue with a lot of nuances, and we've only just begun to scratch the surface of what's possible.
True. It's going to be fascinating to see how this all unfolds in the years to come. So much to think about and unpack here.
Yeah, and Gondola really stresses that this is a conversation that needs to involve everyone, not just artists and tech people.
Right. It's something that's going to affect society as a whole.
Exactly. And I think artists have a particularly important role to play in shaping the future of AI art. Well, Gondola encourages artists to embrace AI, but to do it thoughtfully. To use these tools in a way that aligns with their own artistic vision and values.
So not just jumping on the bandwagon and using AI to create generic art.
Yeah, exactly. It's about using it to enhance their own personal artistic expression and, to push their creative boundaries.
Right. It's about co-creation, not replacement.
Exactly. And Gondola really believes that the future of art is going to be a collaboration between humans and machines.
I'm curious what that might actually look like in practice.
Well, imagine an artist using AI to quickly generate tons of variations of a design, trying out different color palettes or textures or compositions.
So it could help speed up the creative process.
Right. And it could allow artists to experiment more freely,
Mm.
without having to spend hours and hours doing everything manually.
But the artist would still be the one making the final decision.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
The artist would still be in control, guiding the AI and making sure that the final artwork reflects their unique vision.
That's a really interesting concept. AI as a creative partner rather than a replacement.
Right. And ultimately, that's Gondola's main point. AI has the potential to revolutionize the art world, but it's up to us humans to make sure that it's used in a responsible and ethical way.
That's a great takeaway. So what can we do as individuals to make sure that AI's impact on the art world is a positive one?
Well, I think staying informed is a big one.
Yeah.
Keeping up with the latest developments in AI art and engaging in these conversations about the ethical implications.
And maybe even experimenting with some of these AI art tools ourselves.
Exactly. The more we understand this technology, the better equipped we'll be to shape its future.
I love that. So it's not just about observing from a distance, it's about actively participating.
Exactly. And I think Gondola leaves us with a really thought-provoking question. He asks if AI can already master the styles of the past. What totally new forms of art might emerge from this collaboration in the future?
That's a great question, one that I think we'll be exploring for many years to come.
Yeah, we're just at the beginning of this new era of art, and it's both exciting and a little bit daunting.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for joining us today for this fascinating deep dive into the world of AI art. We hope you learned something new and that you'll continue to explore this ever-evolving field.
It's definitely a journey worth taking,
Yeah.
and we can't wait to see what the future holds.